Okay.
Hello, Angels of Light group. Welcome to 2024. This is so exciting. Sorry, I'm a week late. Um, I've been sick for 2 weeks. It's been ridiculous. So I didn't have the best start off of 2024, but you know what? It's all the way, it's the way your attitude is and the way you look at it, right? I had to be grateful to say, hey, at least I'm blessed that I could stay and rest in my home. Because a lot of other people wouldn't be able to do that. They'd be like, I got to go to work no matter what. And so I'm so grateful for that, and for all of you, because if it wasn't for this type of a business, I wouldn't have been able to spend the first 10 days of January in bed and resting my body that I really needed. So anyways, thank you for being to adjusting. Sorry that we had to postpone a little bit. I wanted to start off with just a couple of housekeeping things that I saw on the workstation. They just launched. It says, cheers to 20 years, Scentsy Incentive 2024. This is so cool. 20 years, you guys. Do you know that I joined and we were just, that year we hit 7 years. I can't even believe that. Like, this is crazy to me. I mean, I'm going to be 13 years April 3rd is crazy for me. So it says we're celebrating our 20 years of Scentsy from January to December, which is so cool. And then they're doing let's see, it says, I'm kind of reading it as I only saw a little bit of it. So they're offering an incentive from January to December 24th. Complete the monthly tasks for at least 9 out of 12 months to earn fun prizes. Earn all 12 months and you'll receive bonus prizes too. Woohoo! Okay, so we're in January. Our challenge is to sell 20 Bring Back My Bar bars. That's so doable, you guys. Oh my gosh. So doable. One of the biggest tips I would say is to go through your workstation in your reports tab. I am not able to share my screen for some reason. I don't know why. It's driving me crazy. But if you go to your reports tab and you go to sales reports, you can go to Bring Back My Bar purchase history. You can go to Bring Back My Bar voting history. So if anybody ever voted for a scent, it'll be on there. And then also you can go to product history and you can type in and select every scent on the Bring Back My Bar scent list. And it'll bring up anybody that's ever purchased any of those scents in the past. And then you could just reach out to them and you could be totally transparent and say, okay, challenge. I have a challenge. It's our 20 years. They want us to sell 20 of these bars. This is one of the scents that you've had before. Are you in? Do you have a 6-pack that you want to buy or whatever? People like to support other people to achieve things. And let's face it, they love their Scentsy. So it's not like you're asking them to buy something they don't want. You're literally saying, hey, I know you've bought this before and I know you like it. So, well, I wouldn't say I know you like it unless you know you like it, because people buy things and they end up not liking it. But you could say, I know you've purchased it before. And so if you did like it, and since it's not available anymore, now's your chance to buy it. But I want to make sure you guys are not missing the opportunity to plug in Scentsy Club. This is the time to get people to say your favorite scent is back. Yes, you can stock up, absolutely, for this month, but why just stock up? Why not continue to get it? It's so important for you as the consultant to understand Scentsy Club that one of the biggest selling points that I was bought into when we launched it is the fact that we don't have any obligation, and we only pay for what we buy. And there's a lot of other direct ship, auto ship things out there, and you have to commit to 3 months and you have to buy a certain amount. I literally have a club member that it kills me because she pays $10 in shipping for 1 bar. And I'm like, I don't understand. Why don't you just get more on your club? She's like, no, I'm fine. I'll just order from you when I need stuff. I just want that bar. So it shows that people will pay $10 in shipping for one bar for their favorite bar. You know, and I'm like, well, then at least get a 6 pack every 3 months instead of one every month. No, it's fine. I'm like, whatever, lady, you spend your money the way you want to spend your money. You know, so it's just important that you know the perks, and then also how they can earn points, which takes some money off of their orders, all the fun stuff. And so this is a conversation starter. So do you ever feel like sometimes you don't know what to say to your clients, like, I don't really know what to talk to them about? Sometimes you could just call them and just say, hey, I just want to make sure that you're aware of the perks and understand how Scentsy Club can benefit you. And so you're aware. And so you could openly decide whether you're going to be a member or not. And not just go, well, Jess, I didn't know that. I didn't know I can earn points and get a discount and get a half off item. And the only way that I can get half off on a whiff box is through Scentsy Club. If I knew that before, I would have been doing that. You just don't want your clients to think that. So have you had that conversation? I'm going to tell you right now, I probably can count on these two hands how many actual detailed conversations I've had with people, specifically to make sure that they know about Scentsy Club. That's horrible, right? I'm just going to be vulnerable and tell you guys that. So when I tell you this is something that we need to be doing, I'm saying this is something we need to be doing. I am including myself. Okay, so that is our challenge for this month. So 20, bring back my bars. You may already have some in your that you've sold. Who knows? We'll see. I'm not going to read all of them, but I'll just read next month. So register for Scentsy Family Reunion. I can't believe it. Michelle, it's already SFR time to register next month. Isn't that crazy? I know. So I didn't get to go last year. The first year in 13 years or 12 years that I wasn't able to go. So it was so hard. So I'm so excited, but at least I didn't have to miss the 20-year. Now, Michelle, were you around for our 10-year? Or you joined right after, huh? So the 10-year was huge. I mean, it was a big shebang. And every year they overly spoil us, right, Michelle? They spoil us, right? It's so worth it. But this is going to be the 20 years. Orville and Heidi are coming back. Yeah. If you've never met Orville and Heidi, Michelle and I could tell you they are like amazing, sweet, kind, generous. It makes you so proud to be a part of this company just because you're associated with them, because they're just so genuine and so amazing. And so we get to hear from them. And I'm just saying, Scentsy does not skimp out on anything. They love to spoil us. And they want you to leave saying, I'm so glad I went. It's in Orlando, Florida. And I believe, oh shoot, I should have looked at these dates. I believe it's June 19th. Okay, I will get those dates. But if you go into, I have it in my count. Let me see here. Let me go June. Oh, how is it not in my, oh, it's in July. That's why. Hello. Okay. So yeah, it's the 15th through the 16th through the 19th, or is that, I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but they're going to have the dates. You could look it up in your news tab for Scentsy Family Reunion 2024. The dates will be there. I'm so sorry that I don't have them right in front of me. I will post it in the comments or whatever. But anyways, now is the time to start really thinking about how are you going to make that happen? Do I have time off from work? Can I start planning and saving for my flights, for my lodging? Do you need a roommate? Because a lot of us get together and we do like a Airbnb, or we room in a hotel together so we could split the costs, and it's so much more fun. That's what Michelle and I love to do, like have our little slumber parties. So it's girl time and we love it. And you get to see things that you may not normally see. I mean, I don't know if you've been to Orlando, Florida. I know I never did before I joined Scentsy, so it's very possible that you haven't. And you could, if you want, make it a trip to go to Disney World if you want while you're there. It's just it's Scentsy gives us the opportunity to live, you know what I mean, and do things that we normally probably wouldn't do for ourselves. But you also get to write it off as a business expense. So because it's the best investment for your business, honestly. You get to see the things and experience things that you wouldn't get to, and it's something that you just can't explain. It's more you have to experience it, right, Michelle? Yeah, it's really hard to put into words. You just got to be there. So, anyways, in your news tab, they just launched the article "Cheers to 20 years." So, all I'm going to plug in is that just try. Don't count yourself out. Don't say like, "Ugh, 20 bars, I can't do that." Of course you can't, because you're saying you can't. And Henry Ford, if you say you can, you're right. If you say you can't, you're right. If you say you can or you can't, you're right. Because it's all your mindset. Um, Now, I wanted to just, let's see, I got 3 more minutes. I said I'll take the first 15 minutes and that's it. I wanted to just share what's going on so far for the month as far as PRV, kind of do some shout outs. Top sales so far for the month of January. This is our whole group. So this is everybody put together. Is Michelle Rodriguez, certified consultant, is in #1 place. #2 is Carly MacArthur, star consultant. Um, excuse me, superstar consultant Brittany Levine. Brenda Mills, superstar consultant. Michelle Brooks, director. Melissa Henning, superstar consultant. Linda Welch, certified consultant. Shauna Cox, superstar consultant. Certified consultant Chad Johnson. Teresa Frolic, who is a star consultant. Myself. I'm doing the top 15. Lauren Byrne, director, and Laura Garcia, certified consultant. Erin Stowell, certified consultant, and at number 15 is Chris Strauss, star consultant. And it's so interesting because I will tell you that a lot of the times, hold on, I'm pulling this up. Like Chris Strauss is always like the #1 in sales. And so it's so interesting to see what people are doing. And she's kind of like she has a lot of events. And so she's still in the top 15 in the first you know, what, 10 days of the business. And it just shows like it's just what you're doing and how you're calendaring your business. A lot of people front load. So they like Michelle Rodriguez, she has the #1 in sales right now. So she may have done a party early on in the month. We don't know. You know what I mean? So I encourage you to reach out to these people that you hear that are like that are doing lots of sales, and ask them what they're doing, because you may be able to do what they're doing. I can guarantee you can if you're willing to learn. I'm sorry, I'm still a little congested ugh, from being sick. And last month, just so since I'm on the report, the top sales last month for our entire group for December is Robin Valerio from New Jersey, certified consultant. So congratulations to her. I want to personally welcome our new team member. She's actually my cousin, so I'm a little biased. Amanda Dill. She's actually going to be jumping on our way home from work. So I'm super excited. I wanted to just kind of do a plug about how bringing new people on really does give you a spark again, because you feel like you have like a purpose to encourage and share, and their excitement kind of brings your excitement back in. And when you've been doing this for a long time, sometimes it's sad. No matter how great this business is, you kind of forget the fun part, and it's having team members. I don't know who I was talking about. I think I was talking to Amanda, and I was telling her how I've achieved amazing things in this business, but hands down, it's the relationships that I've received. I mean, you saw how I saw when I saw Michelle's face when she came out. I was like, it's like that. It's like, that's what makes me happy. That's what makes me want to do this and wake up and continue on every day with Scentsy is people like Michelle. And so it's so important to don't discount asking people to join you on this journey because it's so much more fun when you're not alone. And because we're a home-based business, we technically do work our business alone. So to just have somebody to, have a mutual connection. And it's funny because a lot of you guys have heard this story before, but Michelle and I, we initially were connected from a mutual situation, like circumstance, like where we were with our faith. And but if it wasn't for Scentsy, we probably wouldn't have had a conversation. And then we found out that we had so much more in common other than just Scentsy. So there's just a little plug about building your team, about how it really is such a blessing. Excuse me, I'm so sorry about this whole congestion thing. It's kind of embarrassing, but I didn't want to cancel again because yeah. All right, so tonight we are oh, Tita said she won't be able to make it to reunion this year. I'm sorry. Okay, well, there's always next year. We're going to be talking about creating a vision. And that is sometimes one of the hardest things because do you even know what a vision is? What is it? What is a vision to you? That might be something that you've never even thought about. Like, where do I want my business to go? What do I want it to look like? Where do I want my life to go? And vision boards are proven to be one of the most helpful and inspiring ways to kind of remember what you're working for. So if you've never done a vision board before, I want to just share how important it is to that you understand that what you put on this board, or even if you're not doing a board, you're just writing down what you want, like what are you looking for, you're the only one that has to understand it. You don't If somebody looked at your list or your vision board and they don't quite understand what that means, that's okay. That is absolutely okay. And so, because it's yours, it's for you. And so you don't have to worry about what do these pictures look like to other people. It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to make sense to you. So one of the I always share this example of one of my first vision boards that I made was I saw a picture of a lady smiling. She had the most beautiful smile. She looked so happy. It was contagious. Like I wanted to smile just looking at her. And I put her picture on. You know what? I'm gonna take some Mucinex, you guys, because this is getting really gross. I put her picture on my vision board because 1 second. So I'm not like snorting at you every 5 seconds. Is she represented what I wanted to be, which was happy, and she looked free, which I want to be free. And she also represented the people that I wanted to be surrounded by. So I put her on this picture. And it didn't make sense to anybody else. Like, who's this chick? And I'm like, I don't know who she is. I have no idea. But I was able to tell them why I put her on her. Now, the coolest part about this person is that when I put her on her, it wasn't because like the way she looked or anything. It wasn't like her hairstyle or her skin tone or her blue, brown eyes or whatever. It wasn't that at all. It was just her energy that she gave off in the picture. Now, the coolest part about this whole thing, you guys, is that I ended up meeting and sponsoring somebody that looked just like her and had the same energy and had the same smile. And she is just still to this day such a sweetheart in my life and a friend. And she ended up sponsoring one of my first directors. And so, wow, that was like totally not expected. You know what I mean? She didn't end up being some big, Scentsy consultant. She stayed a consultant for a little while. She came to some events with us. We had fun as girls and stuff, but it wasn't really for her. But it was cool because she introduced a whole opportunity and lifestyle to her friend Lauren. And then ended up, you know, Lauren and I connected, and this is a part of her life. So all that, for me, just looking at somebody on on a piece of paper and saying, "Wow, I like her energy." And I really want her energy, and I want that energy in my life. And so all of that turned out. And it was just ironic that, and I'm not a big fan of coincidences. I think that everything has a purpose. But so I want you to know how powerful that is. I want you to know how your vision um is so real. And if you let it be, if you believe that it is real and that it can happen, because that is the biggest issue with anybody with any goals, any whatever you want in life. If you don't believe that it's possible, you're not going to put the steps towards it, right? Um, so what does 2024 look like for you? You may or may not have any idea right now. You may be going through a big life change. Um, you may not have any idea of where your life is going right now, as far as your personal life, your social life, your Scentsy life, your full-time job life, whatever. Who knows? Everybody's in a different place right now. But there are things that we have in our control, right? And so I really want you to start with, what's your vision as an individual? Things that you can control. So, for example, you'd like to start eating healthier, or exercising every day or 2 times a week, or whatever that might look like. Those are things you can control. You may not be able to control the way your job's going, right? That the people around you aren't working well with you or whatever. But what can you do in 2024 to maximize your experiences? Because the way you feel is going to make a lot of difference of how you respond to the outside world. Okay. So I'm always going to encourage, obviously taking care of yourself, right? Health, eating well, exercise. Um, and if you're in a place in your life right now that you're just like, that sounds like a lot, then start with one thing. There's apps with that you could check off a glass of water every hour or whatever. So if your vision board literally consists of just drinking more water, you know what? Do you think you're going to start drinking more water when you have a picture of water on your desktop, or whatever? It's going to plant that in your mind, and now you're aware, right? And so when you see the glass of water on your desktop or whatever, you think you're going to go, well, shoot, I haven't had any water today. And you're going to be moving forward. Now, I'm not trying to downplay your vision, because um I want you to think big, because the sky and beyond is your limit, right? Um you really determine how far you can go, and what you want in this life. But if you're in a place that you're like scared, or don't quite know where that comes, like how to start, you're not in this alone. So you may need someone to, like me or your sponsor or your director or a friend, I don't know. I mean, that's for the business, that's what your team is for. That's what your upline's for, is to not be in this business alone. But if you're thinking more of like a personal thing, don't do it alone, because somebody might have a suggestion for you. They may have been through the same challenge, or they may be vision block, they just have no idea where they want this to go. And they might have some suggestions for you. So the worst thing you could do for yourself is try to just fix and do on your own. We were not put on this earth to do things alone. We were here to be together. We are beings that gravitate toward each other. Our energy is vital for each other. That's why it's so important to gather and be together. And that's going to help you create a vision, because you may never on your own see what's possible, but somebody else might be able to say, this is what I've visioned or I've achieved. And it opens a door that you never thought was even possible or didn't even know was there. So don't leave your dreams and visions, don't leave them to yourself, because other people can help you paint your picture, if that makes sense. Michelle, do you have anything to add or share of your experiences with creating a vision or a board or setting goals?
Not really. Like I'm listening, like, oh
That's okay.
yeah. I mean, I guess um it really is important to have someone to share things with. Um, it's the finding of that person, right? That's difficult. So I don't know if there's a way we could uh like reach out to people on the page. Not really accountability partners. I know some people don't want accountability partners, but just like a sounding board type person, that's willing to go back and forth. Some people really like being alone and they just
Mhm.
are comfortable with just doing their own thing. But um I don't know. I mean, for me it was Melissa, and so now I don't have her. So, I'm like, oh yeah. you know. But I think it is important and it is helpful, and you don't necessarily have to do things together. So I think it's just being open-minded to the opportunity, open-minded to sharing with someone, anyone. Um, I don't know if there's a way we could say like, I'd be open to it, and then people can match up that way,
Right. I think that's
you know?
great. That's a great suggestion. I love that. Um, and I know that sometimes, because we are independent consultants and we run our own business independently, sometimes we feel um, like I know for myself that when I need like support, even though I'm always asking you guys to reach out and let me know if you need it, but it's hard for me too as well. I'm just going to say that right now. And so, like, it made me sad that, like, I hope you can, if I could be that person for you, if that's what, you know what I mean. I would love that, because I need that. I don't have anybody either, and but it's my fault because I don't reach out and say, "Hey, I need some accountability, or just some inspiration with somebody that's to talk some things out with, or whatever." So, I'm sure if you and I are kind of in the same place that we think that's a great idea, I'm sure that there's other people out there. So, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because we could even create like a group chat, or if people want to log on once a week for 15 minutes, or there's so many things we could be doing, so thank you for that suggestion. um I wanted to bring up, there is a consultant in our group that, very successful one, might I add. I don't know, she didn't give me permission to share anything, so I'm not gonna say her name, but um she when she first started Scentsy, she started off really well. And she still is successful to this day. However, she didn't realize that she didn't have a vision for a long time. She heard a lot about creating a vision of where she wants to go, where she wants her business to be. She just she didn't realize she was kind of stuck of what she wanted out of this. And until she kind of achieved all the basic things that Scentsy kind of gives you of like, okay, you get to certified and then you get to lead and then you get to this and then you do this and you do that. And it's like, okay, she was achieving all this and it's like, okay, check, 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 check. But she didn't feel fulfilled. And it's because she didn't really know where she wanted this to go and what it meant to her. And so it took for her to sit down and realize that she didn't have a vision, but it was also okay. So this is why I also want to have this side, because if you, excuse me, if you are that person, if you're like, I don't know where this wants to go. I'm having fun or I'm enjoying what I do. I like where my business is at right now. I like where my life is at. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, all these meetings are to contribute to your life as well as your business. I hope you incorporate whatever we talk about to kind of go, okay, how can I, how could this add value to my life and my business, not just Scentsy world, right? Um, that we're all going to be in sometimes we're going to be in a place in our life, a season that we just may not have one, and that's okay too. So I don't want, if you are that person, if you're just like, I'm just good, like I don't really I don't need to have some big goal or whatever change in my life or transformation. um you know I don't need to say I want to make this much money more this year or anything. That's actually a good thing, you guys. If you're in a place of just peace, amen. um, this is more about if you are stuck and you aren't feeling peace and you need to move forward and you need a change. Um, Maybe you need Scentsy to pick up because you're changing financially situations. I don't know. You know what I mean? Um, that's when having a vision is important, and sitting back and creating it is very important. Now, when I said it only needs to make sense to you, it's very 100%. But sometimes people go their whole lives and not even sit down and ask themselves, what do I do to relax? What do I enjoy doing if I have a whole day to myself? What would I do? What would that look like? Um, what is my favorite food? Like if I was gonna, somebody was gonna bring me my favorite food and not have to worry about how much it was, how many calories, whatever. Like, do you know that about yourself? And so this whole meeting is about encouraging you to take time for you to discover you. And so I'm going to leave you guys with a little assignment if you choose to do it. One, I would love for you to create a vision board if you can, if you want to. Um, what I do is I'll just pull pictures off the internet. I'll just, what I'm looking, I'll just print them out and whatever. That helps me. I'm a visual person, so I need to see and kind of remember, like, what am I doing again? Um, okay, little Zoe is being demanding. Sorry. um, so that is definitely, that's why we're here tonight, is for us to create visions. But this step first is probably going to help you with that. And this is going to be, it might be a hard one. This is a task that I did at Director Boot Camp in 2012, and I'll remember it forever because it was hard, you guys, and I didn't realize why it was so hard until we had to write down 25 things that we were proud of in the previous year. And it could be anything. Obviously, this is a Scentsy meeting, so we would like you to add some Scentsy stuff. But if you're not proud of anything in your Scentsy business, that's totally fine. But find 25 things, and I hope that there's more, but it's crazy how many at the end of this exercise that we're almost resistant or reluctant to be proud of ourselves, because it's like, well, I should be a good mom, or I should, clean the house every day, or I should, like you just you have all these expectations instead of patting yourself on the back, like, you know what, I lost 10 pounds and I kept it off that entire year. Well, shoot, that's actually an accomplishment. Instead of like, well, I shouldn't be 10 pounds overweight, or blah, 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 it's like, how are you literally talking to yourself? And because the way you speak to yourself is the most impactful. So if you're telling yourself, well, you should have lost 10 pounds, then you're going to never be sad. You're never going to be proud of anything, right? Of any, you're not going to be able to enjoy when you go get those new pants that are a size smaller or whatever, because you're telling yourself that that's just the way it should be, right? Instead of saying, um, so that's just an example. When it comes to a Scentsy business, you're probably like, Jessica, give me an example for Scentsy, because I don't have any ideas. Hey, say, maybe you're proud that you did one home party last year, or you did your first fundraiser, or you were active every single month of the year, or 6 months out of the year, or what, I mean, there's so many things. It depends on your level of understanding of the business too. So you like 500 is a big goal for everybody, like, because when you have a team, you're eligible to get a sponsoring bonus. So how many times have you put um sold $500 in a year? Have you even looked at that? You might go, oh my gosh, I did that way more than I thought I did, and then you might go, well, shoot, maybe that's my vision a little bit, is just to strive to be more intentional about, instead of, you might look at your list and go, shoot, I sold $443 that month. Well, I'm going to be more intentional to make sure I get to that 500 or whatever. And that's what your sponsor is there for, and your director. I sent a text out to all my frontline last night. I really want to go through the bar with everybody, because it's such an eye opener, because we don't even realize what we're actually doing. We kind of take it for granted that we're just like, well, again, well, I'm supposed to be doing that. Well, I've been in the business long enough. I should, instead of saying, good for, you know what? Shoot. Dang it. I deserve that. Because guess what, guys? Not everybody's doing those things. Um, and that's also what your sponsor, upline, team, sideline, downline, all that is for, is to celebrate with you. You know what I mean? Let's, this is, life should be happy and full of joy, and let's focus on those things. So I would love to see your guys' list. If you want to email it to me at jessfragrance.com. I will send you a little happy mail just for doing that for me, because that is one of my greatest joys, is just seeing joy in other people. So if I could see that you see that how great you are, I can probably guarantee that I'm going to help you find some more things. And here's the thing, guys, um I think I was like stuck on like 10 for like a good like 20 minutes, until I don't know, there was this one of the executives, his name was Joel Curtis. He was like one of my favorite executives that unfortunately isn't with them anymore. But he saw me kind of like uh and so he asked, he's like, you really are only proud of yourself for 10 things in an entire year? And he's the one that helped me understand that it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be some, you know, I made director, or I earned an incentive trip, or, it doesn't have to be those things. It could be like, I had all my testers organized and separated on the first week of the first season of the catalog. shoot. I never do that, So, and it's just to kind of build your brain to be more of a growth mindset and to focus on positive and happiness because Scentsy should be happy. Not it shouldn't make you feel bad about yourself, of what you haven't done. So I hope this is helpful. um don't feel like you have to rush your dream board either. It could be a work in progress throughout the whole year. And you can add things like, oh shoot, I'm gonna close with this. This is so funny. Okay, you guys. I had a picture of, this is crazy, woman's legs, and that's all it was just legs like crossed on my dream board. And when everybody saw it was like, "Ooh, what does that mean, Jess? Like, weird." Okay, so I'm going to tell you what it meant. I am Italian and Filipino, so I have very dark hair. And so, and I thought that there would be never the day that I would have enough money to extra money aside from all the other things and responsibilities to pay for laser hair removal. Okay. It was like, that's just a dream. Yeah, I'll put it on there. It's never going to happen. You guys, Jess is hairless. And what was the funniest part is that I had some missionaries over for dinner, and one of them was asking me about dream boards. He's like, "Have you ever done dream board?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I told him, I'm like, "Okay, this is kind of inappropriate, but I'm going to tell you anyways." I'm like, "But I want you to know how powerful just putting it on there." Because you start to do the things to create those things to happen. You may not be like studying like how much does it cost and how much do I have to break down, and you may not be specifically breaking down how to achieve that specific goal, but it reminds you that you're working towards a better life, a more resources, more abundance, more opportunity, or whatever. And I'm the only one that knew why it would make me happy. It's because I was always embarrassed to wear a tank top or a bathing suit because I had such dark hair that it looked like I didn't even shave. And I know I'm getting really vulnerable here, huh? But when I was 15 years old, and I think that's why I was so self conscious. I was in the bathroom with the door open. I was at a friend's house and I was putting my hair up in a ponytail. And a guy walked by, my guy friends, and he goes, "Forget to shave today, Jesse?" And I was like, "Oh, like, kill me now." And I totally shaved. I was like, "Oh my gosh." Like, so that was like, one day I'll be able to put my hair up and not be self conscious. So I hope that my silly example is inspiring for you to know that there's no silly vision of what makes you happy. It doesn't have to make sense to me. It doesn't have to make sense to your sponsor or your spouse or your kids. But if it makes sense to you, throw it on there. Write it down. If you're not going to do a board, write it on your on a piece of paper of things that you'd like to see. And there are things on my dream board that I've made years ago that are still haven't happened. But it doesn't mean my life's not over. My life is not over, and neither is yours. So I hope this is in some way inspiring. And if you want a buddy to help you kind of powwow with creating a vision or breaking down some goals, reach out to me. I'm That's my greatest joy. Okay. So I hope that we'll be able to connect more. And this is every month, once a month. And there's I just a little plug. The reason why I don't do weekly, you guys, I did it for so many years, is because there's just so many weekly things out there that that are so great. Why reinvent the wheel? Do you know what I mean? If that's already being done, we already have amazing people committed to it. Why am I going to drag you to another weekly? But at least we could connect once a month as a team and kind of powwow. So, any last thoughts, Michelle?
Um, no, like, not that I put this on my vision board, but it's always like health or whatever. So I started reading a book about fasting for women in December 2022. And today I completed a 3-day water fast, which I never thought I would do, you know? So like just learning all year about like my health and women and hormones and like as I'm getting older and like what am I going to do to take care of myself, things like that. Um, I just kind of like signed up and there's like a whole community and all that, which as we're talking about, vision boards and having a partner, it's just there's something about having a community to help, like um there's a Facebook group, there was like a daily Zoom saying, okay, this is day 1, so this is what to expect. This is day 2, this is what to expect. And just having that touch point and that information, it's like, oh, I'm at 24 hours. Oh, I'm at 48 hours, and my coworkers are like this morning, knowing I haven't eaten and I've just been on water and electrolytes. That's it and how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm great. Like I'm doing
Wow.
great. I feel good. Like I've lost 5 pounds in 3 days, so little things where it's like just educating ourselves and it may take longer than you think, but I'm like, I just started reading this book a year ago and then I've been doing fast, but I'm like, I'm not a breakfast eater, so that wasn't hard.
Uh-huh.
This I thought was going to be harder. And it was hard in the sense of like, I'm sitting there and my family's eating prime rib. I'm like on day 1, and I was like,
Oh.
really? Really, you guys? But, it was like, no, I'm doing this for me. And I think that that's what's important about a vision board. And like my first SFR was the first time I ever traveled without my family. Like that I went on a plane and traveled and they weren't going to come and they had nothing to do with it, you know? And so like thinking about those things, even like when you and I were going to travel to SFR last year, I was like, I'm going to SFR by myself. Oh my God, I'm getting on a plane. Oh my God. And I was kind of like in my head, like, I don't know, I have connecting flights. And I was like in my head, and then I did it. And so at the end of it, like M squared and I are like, I can do hard things, you know? It was like, I could do this. I could go home by myself. I could do, so it was kind of
Yeah.
like a silver lining. Like I learned that I can do that. And I think that I know I could do that, but then I was forced to do it, which isn't
Mhm,
something that I would ever do.
mhm.
I was like, I did it and I survived and I'm alive and I'm good and I, didn't miss any flights.
Yeah.
So like just I think having a community sharing is so important. Like I don't think we realize how important community is. And I think that that's like one of the things that I absolutely love about Scentsy is that it's not always about Scentsy, like the deepened relationships, people having babies and people moving, people getting married or whatever, um we're just you've built a community like in your angels that is just so positive that in the world we don't see that. We
Right.
don't see a lot of women supporting women. And I know that there are some men, but this is a majority women environment that in life we don't really get to cheer each other on, and it's like we're all in the same business and we all sell the same product, but yet we can cheer each other on. Like, good for you, you made that sale, and not be hateful or haters or take away, like, because you did an event or you did a great party or you, that doesn't take away from me, you know? Like, I've never
Absolutely.
felt that in
Oh,
this community.
me neither.
And, I think that there's just so much that we can do for each other just by cheering each other on,
Oh,
if nothing else.
amen, sister. I love that. I'm so glad that you shared all that. Absolutely. Good for you. 3 days with just water. You're just like inspired me. I'm like, okay, if she could do it, I could do it. I'm like, I'll do it on a weekend. So I'm like,
No, I mean, I did it on Monday,
you did it
Tuesday,
during
Wednesday at
work.
work. I was at work.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's actually easier because you're like busy instead of like,
Well, I do sit at lunch with friends and I'm like, sorry, I'm fasting. I'm just gonna stay over
oh,
here. Sorry. I mean, I could have sat with them, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna torture myself either. So I
right,
kind
right,
of gave
right.
up like friend time too. And they're like, oh, whatever. But
Was
but
it hard? Like, did you go through a point of like, "Oh my gosh, I'm starving." Like, no. So you
no.
just had enough. Well, I've heard that like most people think they're hungry and they're actually thirsty. That
Hmm.
if you like guzzle like a couple glasses of water, you're all of a sudden aren't as hungry
I
as you
think
think.
we're just bored,
Right, right.
honestly. Like the food is there, you're bored, you eat it. But this was like I mean, I'll share like what it does to you, but it was
Oh,
just
please do.
something
Yeah.
I did for myself and something that I've been working on all last year is just my
Love
health,
that. Good for
getting
you.
blood work
Yes.
done, all the female stuff done just to make sure like I'm good,
Yay. Thank you
you
for
know?
doing that to keep my friend healthy. And I want to just close with this. I want to share with you that not going to reunion was like the hardest thing ever for me because I always looked at those opportunities as like the mama bear opportunity. Like I had to be there for you guys, and oh my gosh, they're going to be by themselves, and da da da. And it was a big wake up call for me of like, okay, settle down, Jess. You're not all that great. Like they're grown women. They can
No.
survive. And it was kind of like a pride check. Like to me, I'm like, do you really think that they can't be alone and that they really need you that much? And it was for me, it was I realized that I think I needed to be needed for a long time. And it was so life changing to see you guys out there flying together and just having some just like I want you guys to be happy without like I was always scared like was is it just me that Scentsy so great and fun and connects people like or like do I have to be feeding them and brainwashing them to think that that it's so great but it's like oh my gosh they actually believe this I'm not even around they're really having fun and it was like it was a pride check like Jess you're hello you're not that
No, I
great
mean, no, we missed you. We really missed
oh
you.
thank you good
Um, and we did bring up, like, we did ask the women that didn't bring families or spouses that
Mhm,
normally do, like, how are
mhm.
you? I feel like it was a very different experience for everybody in
Yes
some way, because it was
uh-huh
like you're here without your spouse. How are you experiencing this alone? Like it's just you
yeah
know so there were like that, or like people that didn't necessarily want to ever room with anybody, me traveling by myself, you not being there,
yeah
newbies,
right
so we really did have, everybody kind of had their own like different experience at this SFR.
that's awesome
Yeah. And we
that's
were like,
awesome
oh, we can, like, I think it was like we could do hard things. Like
yeah,
we could,
I love it.
you know,
Yes.
yeah,
Yay.
no, I think it was a learning curve for everybody in one way or
Absolutely.
another. Yeah. It was
Right?
interesting. Yeah.
Yay.
It was
Yeah.
cool. But we
And
did miss you. Don't
oh,
ever think we didn't miss you.
I know you didn't. I knew you missed me because I missed you guys too. And you kept me posted with everything. I was like in bed, literally like watching you guys. And but
Mhm.
but yeah, and one thing I just want to plug that like that's the goal, right? Is for when you build a team that they're going to end up being independent and they're not going to be dependent on you. You know what I mean? That they're going to find their own happiness and their own joy and their own why and all that fun stuff. Because if you feel like you are their lifeline, that's not the beauty of this business. The beauty is to be independent and to be able to create freedom for you and for them and all of that. Like, so you're not like constantly feel like you're hustling all the time in all the shapes and forms that, hustling can be. It's
Yes.
like, oh, like I was able to sit back and unfortunately do what I needed to do. I was sick, so it's like I have to take care of myself. And I knew
Yeah.
you guys cared about me. And so it's like, well, obviously your health's more important, and it was really neat
Yeah.
to be able to go, wow, they're not just all canceling, like, well, screw it. If Jess isn't going, I'm not going, so it made me really happy that Scentsy was such a big part of your guys' heart that, and it still brought so much joy to you. And it just, oh,
Oh
it was
yeah.
so wonderful.
Yeah. It was great.
So another plug for Scentsy Family Reunion.
Yeah, a bunch of strangers I would have never met, and we had a
Yes.
blast. Go figure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yay.
We even have our own code words and
I know you
you
guys have all these like little inside jokes. I'm like, I don't know what that means.
our little inside jokes. Yeah.
I love it.
No, it
I love
was
it.
it was it was fun. It was yeah, it was great.
Yay. All right, my sweet friend. I love you
All
and
right,
thank
love you
you
too.
for being here and you're amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad.
All
See,
right.
I
Okay,
put this on my calendar and I made it.
you made it. I'm so grateful. Thank you. This was so fun. I love it. And I hopefully it's
Uh,
helpful for whoever gets to watch later in some way,
yeah,
shape, or form.
vision boards are great too.
Yes, yes. And what we were supposed to be really talking about is also good
No,
too.
they really are. That
They
that
are.
came off of a old vision board, so that's funny.
Awesome.
And it was this one was
I love it.
healthy, lean,
Yes.
radiating joy,
Which she totally does. All of
right?
that. Like I
Yeah,
see that myself. I mean, even if I didn't, it's fine as long as you do, but I see that too.
like goals. All
Yay.
right. Well,
All
thank
right.
you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.